Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Giants are probably going to open up 1-5 on the season. So then you start to say the fans are getting angry. They just want to see Dart. The ownership's like, hey, you know what? Maybe we make the right move with Russ here. But then you have self-preservation mode with the general manager and the head coach where it almost seems like it's inevitable. Midway through the season, it's going to have to be Jackson Dart. Otherwise, what are we doing, Giants?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It should be illegal for Scottie Scheffler to play on the PGA Tour. This guy can't be stopped. Another victory at the BMW Championship. He has a chip on the 17th, which will go down in the history books. 82 feet, landed 60 feet short, and then rolled the rest of the way. Super exciting win again for Scheffler, who is not only the best golfer in the world, he's becoming one of the best golfers of all time.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It doesn't matter that they're early in the game, late in the game, they're trailing, they're leading. It doesn't matter, garbage time. CeeDee Lamb is the guy, and we saw that even after Dak got hurt last year and Cooper Rush was under center. Targets were going to CeeDee Lamb. And when you can get 9, 10, 12, 15 targets on a game-by-game basis, he's going to rack up fantasy points every single week. Frankly, he underperformed last year.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
It's the top of the hour right here on the Early Line. No better place to be setting up your table for the rest of your SportsGrid day and also your weekend. There's football, there's baseball, there's NFL news. There are so many hot topics we have to get the people caught up to. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. By the way, in this hour, we're going to have Coach Terry Bowden on in the next segment here, talking some college football with us. Tom Vecchio stopping by a little bit later this hour. And so many game breakdowns to get to, Joe Ranieri. The energy is high. Tomorrow is still August. Sunday, still going to be August. Monday, let's get into September. Let's get back to business, baby. I love it.
I am excited, man. I mean, that was a little appetizer last night in college football and what we've got coming up in what is the greatest first week of college football scheduling-wise that we've ever seen. I'm all for it, Donnie.
Love it. Look at his team scheduling big games. Why? You can afford losses now. It's fantastic. Some people say, like, college football was better in the 80s when nobody played anybody and we voted on the national championship. Nonsense. Let the big boys play. Let it be decided on the field. And let's crown a championship. And away we go, which includes going away here in the 7-7, the hottest topics across the sports landscape. None hotter than yesterday, late afternoon. Micah Parsons dealt to the Green Bay Packers from the Dallas Cowboys for 2 first-round draft picks and Kenny Clark and a massive contract worth $188 million over 4 years, $120 million fully guaranteed the minute he had pen to paper. Unbelievable contract, unbelievable player, unbelievable story.
I mean, yeah. Thanks, Jerry. Don't lose any sleep over it, right? Well, I'm good Cowboy fans didn't, because they're going to be losing a lot of sleep over it now, given the fact that he's going to be playing for the Green Bay Packers. Listen, at least you got something of value in return, but the Cowboys have clearly sent the message that this year doesn't really matter. They're not expecting to do a whole heck of a lot, but they're hoping that the first-round picks and, of course, the defensive linemen, maybe they can stop the run. And the future is bright in Dallas is what Jerry's going to try to sell to everybody. Good luck with that.
Look, Dallas isn't going to fall off the map. They're still going to be a competitive team this year. But when you're trying to put your best foot forward for your organization, once again, Joe, they trade him on draft night. Hey, Dallas has a plan. Here's what they're going to do. use a first-round pick in this draft here. We're going to get a defensive player. We're also going to get Kenny Clark. Next year, I have a number one. I have more money to spend once free agency is coming around and guys we can add to the team or maybe make trades. The fact that you just handcuffed your football team by trading your best player away a week before and not getting really any help back for that, that's the problem that everybody has a problem with. Thank you, Jerry Jones. You are not a better football team, regardless of what you're saying at that press conference yesterday. But the Green Bay Packers, they're a better football team today. Why? Because they just made a trade for maybe the best defensive player in the NFL, and that's going to make a difference. But the problem is now is, what are we getting out of the quarterback position? High expectations for Love, but a banged-up thumb. He's saying, don't worry about me, Joe. I'll be good.
Yeah, the non-throwing hand, they addressed it, I think, in week 2 of the preseason, and he'll be fine. As long as it doesn't affect his throwing hand, I'm good to go here with the Packers. But the problem is now, Donnie, there's a lot of running to the window, backing the Packers to win everything, division-wise and everything else. I'm not there just yet because Micah Parsons is on a team.
Absolutely. You know where Joe Ranieri is, though? In South Florida, and just a little bit north and to the western part of that state, there's a place called USF, and that's where the Bulls play. And that's where they were home yesterday going up against Boise State. Underdog price. Take the points. Nah, come on now. Just take them outright. Joe Ranieri told you a wasted squad last night. USF blasted the Broncos last night. 7-0, no big deal. Let's run off 30 straight points and beat this team up.
Told you didn't want your points. I'll take them on the money line. And 34-7 tells you everything you need to know here. I mean, huge win for the program of South Florida, who, by the way, has got Miami and Florida on the schedule coming up. So this was a big win for them. But by Boise State losing as well, Donnie, now all of a sudden, isn't that whole group of 6 all now wide open? This could open the door for a lot of teams here.
They got to shake things up in Boise. Rip up the blue turf. Go to grass here. Nice green grass. See if you can change things up. That was not a good look for Boise. And that's not really a look that we usually see from Boise State either. Sometimes you get lumped up when you go away and play like a top 10 team. That wasn't a top 10 team, and you were favored there, and you got hammered without Ashton Ginty in the backfield. Some things got to change up there in Boise. We'll see how it plays out. The Texas Rangers, everybody who plays for them seems to get hurt. It's just the way it is. And this isn't even really an injury. An appendectomy here for Corey Seager. Return date unknown at this point, but a team that was hoping to try to get back into that wild card race, they just keep on taking left hook after left hook after left hook, Joe.
Well, it's 2 years in a row now, Donnie, where the injury bug and just flat out bad luck here has really kind of stifled this organization and this team here. And you lose Evaldi last week. We've had injuries. Now all of a sudden Seager's down as you're trying to battle to stay relevant. Not good. All the talent in the world, and they just can't seem to get out of their own way over the last 2 years. It's time to start burning some sage in that locker room or something here because it's not going well in Arlington.
I think that's what they did last night at Citizens Bank Park. Lit some of the sage out there. It was Star Wars night, by the way, at Citizens Bank Park last night. Man, the revenge of what? The Sith? Oh, they hammered the baseball last night. 19 runs for the Philadelphia Phillies. 7 home runs. 4 of those home runs by one baseball player, Kyle Schwarber. Bang, 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 and bang. The 21st player in Major League Baseball to hit 4 home runs in a game. The Phillies put on an absolute firework show, and he was the biggest, brightest firework of them all.
So you know what that means, right, Donnie? That basically means they're going to score
0 runs tonight?
2 total runs. Yeah, exactly correct. Yeah, over the next couple of
Bryce
games.
Elder.
So, absolutely. Well, Bryce Elder, here we go. Team total over, first 5 over, and he'll probably go out and throw a no-hitter. That'll just be the way it is. But kudos to the Phillies. They are going to be in a race down the stretch here. Can they hold off the Mets and others? We're going to find out.
Like, there are ebbs and flows in Major League Baseball, unlike other sports, where you know it's like, regardless of the pitcher the next day. Oh, look at the Yankees. They scored 1 run, had 11 strikeouts, got 4 hits. You know they're busting back for double digits the next day. The Phillies came home down 3-0 and then scored 19 runs in 8 innings yesterday. Absolutely amazing. How about those Mets rolling over the Philadelphia Phillies? The vibes couldn't be higher. The Marlins are on town. Let's chase down the Phillies. Oops. 4-4 game, couple more errors, 7-4 loss. The Marlins knock out the Mets.
Yeah, well, the Mets decided to turn it into a soccer match, apparently, where, no, you're not supposed to kick the ball, Mets. You're actually supposed to catch the ball, field the ball, throw the ball. That's how it works here. But yeah, 3 hours later, opening the door. I don't care who you are, especially against this feisty Marlins team. You give them extra outs, they are going to make you pay. And that's exactly what they did.
Coco Gauff, tears to cheers to wins at the U.S. Open. We got all the gamut of emotions last night out of Coco Gauff in that match.
Yeah, a lot of tears on both sides of the net in that one, apparently. But ultimately, she advances, right? And that's what it's all about. Survive for another day, and then ultimately, you got a shot at another U.S. Open title.
Joe, first public appearance yesterday for the happy couple, engaged couple, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Were you watching the football game between Cincinnati and Nebraska for that or for the game itself?
No, well, there was no way to avoid it. If you had the game on, then you were basically sitting in the suite with Kelce and Taylor and Mahomes and others. So they were all present at Arrowhead yesterday, and even college football getting in on the publicity.
Yeah, now that she's not touring, like, does she just stay with Travis, I guess, in Kansas City for the entire football season? So she'll be there at every single game? You would assume so, right? Like, she's not going to be jet-setting all over the world. And, hey, because remember, they were chasing people like, we're going to Brazil, I'm going to Antarctica, like, wherever the heck the concerts were. They were following each other around. You don't have to follow around anymore. Keep it on the SportsGrid Network. Coach Bowden joins us next. The Bowden Blitz, baby. Get ready.
Playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Pirates use that thing, Joe. It's like once every 15 years, we'll hope for the perfect storm with lightning in a bottle, then we'll try to rebuild it again. Enough, man. In this day and age, with the prospects that you can certainly have by stinking every year and top-flight talent like you see in Paul Skeens, it's just a shame, and it gets on my nerves. Like, for me, being a Phillies fan, I think it's hilarious. Like, I never want Pittsburgh to be good. Why? Not because it's a rivalry. It's just a team you don't have to worry about in the playoffs, and your team can make the playoffs.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The NFL has ruined the concept of trade requests. It's not real. It's just a negotiating tactic. I'd appreciate reporters changing the language, because in the NBA, when a player requests a trade, they get dealt. In the NFL, nobody actually thinks it matters. If Jacoby Myers is going to buck that trend, and if Jacoby Myers is going to get traded, we'll see where he goes.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Hopefully starting in 2027, where I think the schedule could just completely get blown up, which would be so exciting for the fans, the players. So there's interesting things that I've heard that that would be like one of the first things that could say that people are talking about, and that things could really get changed up a little bit.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Football Friday right here on the Early Line on the SportsGrid Network. It's Donnie Rightside, it's Joe Ranieri, and we got to bring in the man, the myth, the legend. It's Coach Terry Bowden. You can see him all over the networks here with the Bowden Blitz with Joe Lisi, and also comes on the show College Football Today with us each and every Saturday. Coach, how do you feel today? We're ready for week number 1.
Man, I'm on location, Tallahassee, Florida, and the Crimson Tide coming this afternoon. So a lot of excitement down here in Tallahassee.
Looking good, Coach. We're ready to go and have some fun. But correct me if I'm wrong. You were a coach of the Auburn Tigers. Those Tigers got a big-time game against the Baylor Bears. Let me ask you this question. You've been in a lot of big-time environments. Early in the season, taking your ball club on the road to a hostile environment, how do you get those guys ready, and what do we see from Auburn and Baylor?
Well, when you got a critical game like Auburn's got, they've been losing seasons. Hugh Freeze is on the bubble right now, and this has been a big game to this staff all year. I don't think you have any trouble getting your team up for a team like Baylor, who are picked to be one of the top teams in the conference, had a great finish last year. It's easier than playing a bad team and playing down to them. So it's a tough assignment, but I've got a new great restart for Jackson Arnold out there, and because of him and his restart and a little bit better talent, I've got Auburn pulling it out.
Like an Auburn there. All right, I guess when you say Death Valley, it doesn't really make a difference for both these teams since they both play at it. But Clemson and LSU getting ready to go. That's a lot of new offensive linemen for LSU there to go on the road against that front against Clemson. The money's on Clemson. What are you thinking?
Well, you know what? When it went 4 points, and I got to go back to LSU and the points, although I do think Clemson will win because home field advantage, their Death Valley, their Cade Klubnik versus Garrett Nussmeier, their new defensive coordinator. They're both very evenly matched, but I got to think that the difference is going to go to Clemson to win the game. But 4 points, I'm going with LSU because it will be a tight ball game with two very evenly matched teams.
Coach, let me ask you a question here with LSU. We've known their struggles opening games, but they're no stranger. Like, they'll take on the best anywhere, any shape, anytime.
Right.
How do you feel about him coming into the game, talking about Brian Kelly and the pressure that's building on him where you're supposed to win at LSU national championships, and it's hard to get excited for the season when you keep getting tripped up in week number 1?
Yeah, I live in Louisiana, and these are Cajuns. These are LSU fans here, and they're not happy. They will put a lot of weight on this game, more than even Brian Kelly wants, because both teams can lose this game and still make the college football playoffs. So it's not one of those games that'll end it. But for Brian Kelly, he needs to start out strong because the Boo Birds are out there, and they're wanting to see immediate results. And, again, they didn't pay him and bring him in not to win the conference or not to go to the college football playoffs. So this is a big game, maybe not necessarily for the SEC championship, but for a chance to go to the playoffs and how good you're going to be. Still, I think they're going to cover with the 4 points, but I've got to take Clemson in their Death Valley with their quarterback. But Brian Kelly is on a bit of a hot seat.
Yes, he is an LSU. They won't tolerate it. Isn't it funny, though, Coach, just a year ago, another loss to Michigan, and Ohio State fans are like, Ryan Day's got to go. He's got to go. Well, now he wins the national championship, and now all is well, except he welcomes Texas in. I don't think this is going to make or break either team, but what kind of game are we getting at the shoe here?
To me, this is a classic. I'm so glad they're opening up this way because now you've got the classic game, two teams with probably the top NFL talent in the country. And I'm still going to give that nod to Ohio State still. Quarterbacks are both new, but Arch, not only he's more publicized, but he's got a little bit of experience, and you have to give the quarterback nod to them. But I've played in the shoe. That's a tough place to play. And it all comes down to Ohio State, a little better talent. They're playing in the shoe. That's just enough to hang on with that lead, that spread.
Coach, let me ask you a question with this, too. Let me put you in the room for the losing team between Texas and Ohio State. Let's just say it's a close, hard-fought loss, 27-24. What are you telling your team moving forward, knowing of how much anticipation in game number 1 there was, but there's still such a long season left to go, and you can still rebound with the extra playoff spots?
You just got to read the paper. Sarkisian, head coach of Texas, is already putting it out. It's not all about this game. It's not all one game. It comes to after this game. And so both coaches know they want to win this game, but have to have a plan B. Because when a game is this evenly matched, about the two top teams in the country, top 2 or 3 teams in the country, the loss could come. It's all about what you do after loss. Most national years, there's a loss somewhere in there. It's how you adapt or adjust to that loss, not that you don't have a loss.
Coach, no team and no program is going to be more watched this year than North Carolina. The problem is they got 70 new players there and Bill Belichick and his staff. If you're Sonny Dykes, how are you even prepping for this? Do you have any idea what you're going to be getting?
Well, Sonny Dykes is not his first rodeo, and he comes from pretty good bloodlines, too. He knows what he's doing. But North Carolina, you got a new coaching staff, new athletes, new systems. You really don't know what you got, but you do know one thing. If anybody knows how to get a team ready for a season, it's Bill Belichick. And that'll be there. But I don't think that'll be enough. I just don't think you could have enough. Too many things they've got to change. And I still wonder, having been a coach for a long time and knowing coaches that have played coach NFL, how motivated, what's his motivation? At hired a couple of sons. I'm not saying that, but sometimes is a reason. Or does he want to take North Carolina to a new level? It's always, a younger coach going from NFL is one thing. I just kind of, his motivation is there to build a championship caliber. He heck knows how to do it.
A couple moments left here in the segment for you, Coach. You're down in Tallahassee. Yeah. Tell us what you're doing this weekend in Tallahassee.
Well, actually my mother's 93rd birthday, and we got the entire Bowden clan.
All right.
Almost 50 of us. Thank you. Almost 50 of us will be there, but we will all be watching that football game because Florida State with a transfer quarterback, Tommy Candelaris, plus Gus Meyer, the opposite quarterback. Can they mesh enough? They will. They'll keep it close, but Alabama will pull away in the second half by 14.
You heard Coach Bowden tell it there in Tallahassee, the place to be on Saturday. Alabama comes to town with Coach Bowden. Thanks once again for joining us this week. We'll see you all throughout college football season. Each Coach Bowden. Catch him also on the Bowden Blitz with Joe Lisi on the SportsGrid Network. Thanks, Coach. Good luck tomorrow. We'll continue with the early line next.
See y'all, man.
Alabama, Florida State, years Georgia opened with Clemson, and then Oregon and LSU and Les Miles opened with Oregon and smacked them around. Alabama knocked around USC and Wisconsin and Va-Tech for years. The SEC fears nobody.
Stop it. I love the SEC. Put them on. By the way, if we just had an only SEC college football playoff show, it would be absolutely wonderful. How about that out there, SEC backers?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
So the Mets, they went through a rough stretch where they were terrible, but, they win the series versus the Mariners. They're kind of turning things around just a little bit. Like, the offense has been there. You said they were in a playoff race. It's tough to say, they need to win. It's like trying to trust teams in different sports at the end of the season. But the hitters are hitting right now. Lean into the Mets, lean into the Phillies. These teams have something to play for, and they're cooking right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I think what you saw last year is it's tough to say, it's projectable, but I do think it's something that when you're taking shots here, you're looking for a bye-week coverage wide receiver on your roster or a guy that has upside who's young enough to grow into more of a role. I think the development of Bo Nix was stunningly good last year. If we can build on that again this year, I think Marvin Mims is a really good selection as the 57th wide receiver off the board.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
What does he do after he hits the home run? He walks over to the fan and he pats him on the back and gives him a high five. This is the same fan that's been going after him for the entire game. Dave Roberts after the game saying, hey, look, every once in a while, it's kind of funny to see Shohei, who's got this wonderful personality that we almost never see. It was great to see him do that with the fans.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Love the energy from Coach Bowden there. Had some fun talking to him about college football. And by the way, Joe Ranieri, I am a Miami Hurricanes fan, but I don't think any Hurricanes fan that has ever watched Florida State and Miami had any issues with, Bobby Bowden. One of the true class guys of all time, winner or loser. You always wanted to hear him talking also. Sometimes you just got to give a shout out. maybe the single best uniforms in the history of college football were those 1990s Florida State uniforms. What a brand they built down there, and certainly celebration, the 93rd birthday of his mom. The Bowden family, it's royalty, isn't it, man? It's great stuff.
It really is there. It's, a lot of experience there, a lot have been there and done that. And it's always great getting to talk to Coach, because the insight all season long will be there with him. So looking forward to having him here on the show each week.
No, I'm going to ask him next week. Like, you talk about recruiting. Like, Bobby Bowden was an unbelievable recruiter. Like, able to go into anybody's home, connect with the parents and family, and get that kid to come to Florida State. But the closer was usually his wife. Come over to the house, have a meal, and say she made the best meals and the best desserts here. That once you left, it's like, yeah, of course, I'm going to Florida State. I got to ask about that topic next week when he gets on. But more topics in Major League Baseball, Joe Ranieri. Let's get to Philadelphia. The Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. 19 runs yesterday, 7 home runs, 4 by Kyle Schwarber. Bryce Elder on the mound today. By the way, when I saw Cal Quantrill was on the mound, I said, that's the perfect tonic for a really bad road stretch against the New York Mets. They hammered Quantrill yesterday. Elder's on the mound versus Suarez. Heavy favorite for the Phils. Overnight, Joe, minus 200 price. That's dropped a little bit into the mid-180s, and a total that's listed at 9 across the board. More good vibes for the Phillies at the plate, or is regression coming? Yeah, you got 19 last night. Good luck getting 9 hits tonight.
No, I'm not buying. Listen, I mean, Bryce Elder kind of burned us last go around here. But I don't expect back-to-back efforts like he gave here against the way this Philadelphia team hits at home. And in that ballpark, it matters here. So, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He got us last week, but he ain't getting us this week, Elder. It will absolutely be a Philadelphia Phillies first 5 team total over and full game team total over.
Let's go. Fighting Phils, knock some home runs out. Maybe another 4 home run performance by Schwarber will be on deck tonight. But how about this? 2 first-place teams. You want American League? You got it. You want National League? You got it. How about Milwaukee and Toronto? Freddie Peralta is going to be on the road taking on the Blue Jays. Shane Bieber had a very good start in his first start for the Toronto Blue Jays. Look at this price point overnight. Was a minus 118. Look at the graphic about the pop-up. It's up to minus 132 to as high as 140, depending on what book you're looking at in the morning. 7.5 is the total. This is an unbelievable game here with a lot of expectations on the line for both of these clubs.
Yeah, and, again, the Blue Jays, we've been telling you all year long, they are a different team at home at the Rogers Center. In fact, they have the best home record in Major League Baseball at 44-22 on the season. And we got a little taste of Bieber, didn't we, last week, Donnie, on what he looked like last Friday?
Yep.
We backed Toronto in that spot. And listen, all signs indicated that what we were seeing and hearing about his minor league starts, the guy was just practically unhittable. He's not blowing the ball by anybody, but this has got, Greg Maddux written all over it. He'll put the ball and have you talking to yourself when it's all said and done. The Brewers are 5-8 since that 14-game winning streak ended on August 17th. It's kind of hard to go against Toronto with an ace on the mound in a building that they win games in. So, yeah, I think it would only be Toronto for me in this spot.
How about Miami and New York? Another game tonight. The Mets lost after sweeping the Philadelphia Phillies to the Miami Marlins. Perez will be on the mound. That's Yuri Perez for the Marlins. Tong is getting a call up to Major League Baseball tonight. And if it's any indicator of what we saw to McLean, maybe the Mets are onto something here. Bring up your young, talented pitchers and see what they can do. And by the way, the public buying in as well. Overnight, Joe, this line, minus 150. Do you know where it sits now? Minus 172 at FanDuel, minus 181 at DraftKings here, minus 175 at BetMGM. That line's on the move, and the people are backing the New York Mets. A total in this game opened up at 7.5. It's 7.5 at a lot of outlets, but also 8s are creeping in as well. The Miami Marlins, the New York Mets, hard to gauge on a rookie pitcher. Do the Mets bounce back tonight in your eyes?
Well, let's be real. They got a pretty good pitcher as well, the Marlins, at 22 years old, and Yuri Perez, who's gone 6-1 with 56 strikeouts in his last 54 2/3 innings. Yeah, it feels like an under to me in this spot, especially in the first 5.
We'll see if they can get some runs. I'll tell you, their New York counterpart didn't struggle with runs last night. They're going to take on the White Sox again. We'll hit that game next, right here on the Early Line.
Alabama, Florida State, years Georgia opened with Clemson, and then Oregon and LSU and Les Miles opened with Oregon and smacked them around. Alabama knocked around USC and Wisconsin and Vatech for years. The SEC fears nobody.
Stop it. I love the SEC. Put them on. By the way, if you just had an only SEC college football playoff show, it would be absolutely wonderful. How about that out there, SEC backers?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
So the Mets, they went through a rough stretch where they were terrible, but, they win the series versus the Mariners. They're kind of turning things around just a little bit. Like, the offense has been there. You said they were in a playoff race. It's tough to say, they need to win. It's like trying to trust teams in different sports at the end of the season. But the hitters are hitting right now. Lean into the Mets, lean into the Phillies. These teams have something to play for, and they're cooking right now.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I think what you saw last year is it's tough to say, it's projectable, but I do think it's something that when you're taking shots here, you're looking for a bye week coverage wide receiver on your roster or a guy that has upside who's young enough to grow into more of a role. I think the development of Bo Nix was stunningly good last year. If we can build on that again this year, I think Marvin Mims is a really good selection as the 57th wide receiver off the board.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
What does he do after he hits the home run? He walks over to the fan and he pats him on the back and gives him a high five. This is the same fan that's been going after him for the entire game. Dave Roberts after the game saying, hey, look, every once in a while, it's kind of funny to see Shohei, who's got this wonderful personality that we almost never see. It was great to see him do that with the fans.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Yankees trying to track down those Toronto Blue Jays. By the way, the Blue Jays going to have their hands full with the Milwaukee Brewers, the leaders in the Central Division in the National League, but a bottom feeder here in the Chicago White Sox. Next up once again for the Yankees, who belted 10 runs yesterday in the Windy City. Rodon, the lefty, will be on the mound today going up against Mr. Gomez. 963, 964 on the rotation, a 740 start. The favorite in this game, it's no surprise. It's the New York Yankees. And it's no surprise that the Yankees have a heavy tax today. But they were as high as minus 240 overnight. Now we're seeing across the betting landscape 225s, 220s here, and a total listed anywhere between 8.5 and 9 runs. More good things on the horizon tonight, Joe, for those Yankees bats?
Well, I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it, right? I mean, team totals have been a pretty good spot here with the Yankees as the bats continue to roll. And there's absolutely no reason. They've done a great job of winning games when Rodon is pitching. That is for sure. But if the price is right, laying a run and a half with the Yankees, not a problem. Team total over for me against this awful White Sox pitching staff.
Let's keep it moving here into the Midwest, Detroit and Kansas City. Detroit, the leaders in the Central Division in the American League. They're going to throw out Chris Paddock going up against Seth Lugo. 967, 968 on the rotation, an 8-10 start. And how about this price point? Overnight, minus 124. It hasn't moved at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Minus 124, minus 123 at DraftKings, minus 125 at BetMGM. A slight favorite to Kansas City tonight. Can they knock off the Detroit Tigers here and maybe start to push some pressure on those Tigers once again? Paddock versus Lugo.
Well, and the problem is Detroit has owned Kansas City all year long. They've got an 8.5 game lead over the Royals. They're 7-3 against them this season. They are coming off just a wild week where they got swept by the Athletics, the Tigers here, and now they got to go to Kansas City. And Kansas City looking for a little bit of revenge here. It's the right pitching matchup for Kansas City. They've got Lugo on the mound. It's the guy that they want. But Detroit just lit them up last week in their series in Detroit. So Kansas City's got to be better, and I think they will be better. I give them the edge in this one, and I'm backing the home team to get back on track.
Joe, I've been waiting for the Houston Astros to finally start to break out at the plate. Maybe tonight is the night. Why? Tyler Anderson, the lefty's on the mound for the Los Angeles Angels. That sounds like a party. Going up against Christian Javier. Troubles here coming back off of the IL. 965, 966 on the rotation, an 8-10 start tonight, and a heavy favorite for the Astros in that minus 185 price range. A total across the board still sitting at 9s here. If you can't hit Anderson, maybe you can't hit anybody. I look for a big offensive performance for the Astros tonight. But again, some of these guys like Tanner Gordon have been able to hold the bats down for Houston, which doesn't make any sense. Can they bust out tonight versus Anderson?
Well, I mean, my goodness, the Angels, last time we saw them done, what was that, a 20-3 shellacking there by the Rangers. And now we've got a situation where Houston is barely getting by Colorado, but Walker's starting to hit the ball. Altuve's there. We know Yordan Alvarez is back in that lineup. So this is now the time, Houston, where you try to right the ship here, and I think they will. I think Javier will be better. I think Houston will be better in this game, and I like the Houston team total up and over as well in this one.
Let's go, Houston. San Diego and Minnesota. Nestor Cortez, the lefty, is going to be on the mound here for those Padres. Zebby Matthews, a strikeout guy from Minnesota, but has had some struggles in Major League Baseball. That total opened up at 8.5, still sits at 8.5, but a favorite here for San Diego, which is starting to rise. Minus 120s or so overnight, minus 125s, minus 135s in the sports betting landscape, depending on where you're shopping at. Cortez and the Padres looking to chase down those Dodgers. Can they get the victory in Minnesota?
Yeah, that was a rough one. The Padres had an opportunity to walk away from Seattle with a big series win there, but couldn't get it done. They lost 4-3. And while with the Dodgers continuing to win games and sweeping Cincinnati, the Padres need to win games they're supposed to win, Donnie, if they're going to be serious about catching the Dodgers. And this is a very winnable game with nasty Nestor, who outside of his last start where he got crushed, has actually been pretty decent here. Zebby Matthews walks far too many guys for me to back. I like the Padres. I like them in this game. I think the price is right to get them back on track here.
Let's get some of those Dodger taxes in, just like we talk about the New York Yankees. Why? They're going to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks here. The Diamondbacks can be a little bit of a problem at the plate. It's going to be Zach Gallen versus Blake Snell on the mound. 959, 960 on the rotation. Late night game out on the West Coast, 10-10 start. Minus 205s overnight. They're starting to shrink just a little bit. Minus 196, minus 195, minus 190, even a minus 184 in the marketplace for this game. A total that's listed at 8.5. I really like the way Snell is pitching. They should be able to roll over Arizona, but Arizona is a little bit feisty. They are.
Yeah, and listen, Zach Gallen, what are you going to get from him, right? He was a guy that not good. Not good against the Dodgers either. I think he's 1-5. He's got almost a 4.5 ERA. He has faced them 14 times, and the Dodgers have crushed him every time here. Kind of hard to go against Snell in any way, shape, or form here because, since coming back off the IL, he's been absolutely amazing here. I don't see that changing, but the Diamondbacks, you're right, are feisty, but I'd be looking to back the Dodgers early in this one. I think they get the Gallen way before the Diamondbacks get the Snell.
Light him up, as in Jack Leiter of the Texas Rangers, trying to still hold down the fort for who was ever left to play for the Rangers for the remaining parts of the season. Taking on Jeffrey Springs and the Athletics in Sacramento. 969, 970 on the rotation, a 10 o'clock start tonight. No surprise. Look at that total. Open up at 10.5. Still sits between 10 and 10.5 across the sports books here. Looking at the side in this game, Athletics open up as a minus 125 favorite. That's moved higher. You see the graphic at 132. Now we're seeing minus 145s and minus 150s out there at the books as a favorite here for the Athletics. People just giving up on the Rangers, Joe. Say it ain't so.
Well, I mean, they should. But they did just score 20 runs, we told you, against the Angels a couple of nights ago. Problem is they're walking into a buzzsaw right now. We've told you, man, the Athletics are a fantastic bet when they are a dog, and they are a dog a lot. They have won 21 of their last 31 Donnie. And this is just, they are swinging it well at their own ballpark. Lighter, by the way, not great on the road. Springs isn't great either, but this, I couldn't sweat an under here. This feels like over, and maybe even an A's team total up and over as well.
How about that? Yep. Last game we'll talk about here, Baltimore and San Francisco. Kramer versus Ray out on the West Coast tonight. A 10-15 start. Side here, minus 145, give or take here for the Giants. And a total listed at 7.5. Anytime I see that Giants ballpark, I'm like, Kramer's not a great pitcher. Ray's been struggling. Could they get the 8 runs? Maybe. But for me, usually a pass. I barely bet San Francisco games, Joe. Just the way it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, the good news is for San Francisco, Devers, Adames, and Chapman have finally started to swing the bat here and finally starting to get some things done. And San Francisco now all of a sudden has put some nice wins together. I mean, let's face it. I mean, they handled the Cubs with no problems here. I don't think they'll have a problem against Baltimore. And Robbie Ray, kind of outside of Logan Webb, he is the guy. And I think that he'll be able to limit this Baltimore lineup as well here. Giants, for me, as crazy as that is.
By the way, also, Paul Skeens is starting today in Boston going up against Peyton Tolley. So I got to do some research on Tolley. But if you're looking at the line itself, we know Boston's better than Pittsburgh, but we're talking about a pick 'em here. So maybe this kid's coming up. I got to do some research on this kid could be what. Hey, look at this. Teams bringing up good pitchers to help them down the stretch to win a pennant or make the playoffs. What a novel concept here, Joe.
Yeah, and guess what? First 5 under. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It just don't even, if it ain't broke, folks, let's not fix it. First 5 under, even if it's 3.5. Yeah, the Red Sox bats probably not getting the Skeens here.
By the way, I lost an all-team total early in the afternoon yesterday because I needed 3 runs from Pittsburgh. They got a home run in the first inning, a double and a single in the first inning, got their first 2 runners on base in the second inning, and still wound up with 1 run from that solo home run for the entire game. Oh, it's Miles Michaelis! Come on. Tom Vecchio's up next. Let's have more fun.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfish years are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the pup list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who'd say, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Let's get after it. It's the early line, hot topics. It's a Friday. It's a football Friday. No better place to be to set the table for the rest of your Sports Grid day. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. And you hear the guy in the background. It's Tom Vecchio, my counterpart on Pro Baseball Today, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The final send-off, Tom Vecchio. Apparently, baseball ends in August, and we just go right to football season on the grid. How about that?
Yeah, Sunday, like you said, the final send-off. Football, we know on Sunday morning certainly does take a priority. Busy week across the sports landscape. We obviously have college starting. We're getting into full swing. The Micah Parsons trade yesterday. We got a lot to get to.
We do got a lot to get to. And by the way, I was driving to the Phillies game yesterday, which I saw 4 Schwarber bombs leave the ballpark. That was fun. But driving there, Tom, the bomb dropped on the radio. Micah Parsons traded to the Green Bay Packers. I never thought that would happen. I thought the squabbles would eventually calm down. And, Micah wants to trade. Yes, so does every superstar athlete. It's probably just between a couple $1 million. They'll meet halfway, and he'll play against the Philadelphia Eagles next Thursday night in Philadelphia. That didn't happen. The Packers got a monster as a defensive pass rusher, and Jerry Jones is telling everybody, Tom, we're so much better today than having Micah Parsons traded than not being on this football team. Come on now, Tom. Explain it to me.
Honestly, terrible. And the return alone for Parsons, to me, 2 first-rounders and you get back a nose tackle. Like, 2 first-rounders isn't enough when you are trading away a player that is legitimately on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And like you said, eventually he paid Dak. Eventually he paid CeeDee Lamb. Like, we have seen this play out time and time again. And whatever the difference was in money, you have to find a reason to make that, bridge that gap to keep arguably a player that is going to be in line or one of the top contenders with Hutchinson and Watt for Defensive Player of the Year for the next 5+ years in a row, and you are trading them away for 2+ picks, and you're saying, you're a better team today. Yeah, those picks could end up being great. There's no doubt about it. First-round talent is a premium in the NFL, but those players aren't going to be realized for 24 months at this point. What are we doing?
Yeah, no urgency is what we're doing. But how does that change your view on Green Bay? And now it seems everyone wants to run, and now Green Bay wins everything here now. Are you convinced?
I would say if you had a ticket on Green Bay prior to the number moving, fantastic. At 12-1 to win the Super Bowl, at least that I'm seeing now in the FanDuel Sportsbook, I wouldn't jump in at this point. Right? The price move to win the NFC North. If you had a ticket on them prior to yesterday, awesome. I would not jump in on them now. That division is super, super tough. So I don't want to be betting into a tough situation after the number has already moved. Now, you can take them on a game-to-game basis. You could look at certainly some other opposing team total unders, whatever it might be situationally. But from a top-down perspective, the numbers moved and you missed the boat. I would not be getting in at this point.
I do love the fact that also, Jerry Jones, knowing that, Micah Parsons have many chances to places he can go to. If you open this up to the league-wide trade, there probably been 15 teams with honest efforts to try to trade him and get him, and yet Jerry Jones keeps him in the NFC, which the Dallas Cowboys will play the Green Bay Packers this year, and over the next couple of years, we'll be fighting for playoff spots with the Green Bay Packers. It's Jerry Jones. He thinks they got the better end of the deal. We'll find out, but I think the early results are, what a terrible move, Jerry. Let's get to the Major League Baseball diamond today. Detroit and Kansas City. Paddock and Lugo, total listed at 9. Slight favorite for Kansas City. What are the options here for the Tigers and the Royals, Tom, for you?
I see this as a bounce back spot for the Tigers, and we're getting plus money on them. Couple things here. Tigers have not been playing well. They've been giving up runs. I'm not saying Chris Paddock is a good pitcher because he's not, but if you look at Seth Lugo, he has been terrible over his last stretch of games. And since July 1st, his ERA is over 6. His xFIP is over 5. So the fact that we have one team that I deem to be better, I think we'd all agree is better with the Tigers. I want to be taking the plus money with the Tigers. And again, I'm not saying Chris Paddock is the guy that's going to power me to the win. Donnie, I've said this before. It's we have pitcher A, pitcher B. It's I'm not betting on either one. It's I'm betting on the Tigers as a team overall to get to the win. It's going to be their lineup. It's going to be a little bit of Paddock, and it's going to be a little bit of their bullpen coming through. I'm not betting on Paddock, but more clearly, the way that Seth Lugo has been pitching as of late, there's no reason to be laying money on him. That's what it really comes down to. So give me plus money on Detroit, and I think they bounce back after a tough series at the Athletics.
Yeah, there are a lot of awful pitchers on the card here today, Tom.
Beautiful.
So how do we approach some of them? What are we looking at here today?
I think we also could be looking to Coors Field as usual. There should be a little bit of rain in the forecast. I don't think that's too much of a deal overall. I think the Cubs they're okay right now. Like, they look good at times. They look bad. Kyle Tucker came back last week against the Angels. He's hitting home runs. They're kind of all over the place. But when it's all said and done, German Marquez is A, not a good pitcher, and B, they're at Coors Field. Now, we see some of these recent games from him when he's certainly piling up the strikeouts. One of those games was at Cincinnati. They're obviously a free swing team. We have to take that with a grain of salt. Even though Cincinnati is a fantastic hitter's park, it's not Coors Field due to the elevation. So let's go to German Marquez under 3.5 strikeouts. It is sitting at -128. Ultimately, when we're dealing with a bad pitcher and Coors Field and a team that I do believe in ultimately with the Cubs, even though they have been struggling, this is the time for them to get right and pile up the runs. So German Marquez can give up 5-6 earned runs in 2 innings and he simply gets pulled, or he just doesn't strike anyone out because he's not a good strikeout pitcher.
Tom, we got a couple young flamethrowers on the mound today. The 2 T's here, Tong and Toll. One pitching for Boston, one pitching for the Mets. The money agrees with them right now. By the way, Toll going up against Skeens. Really good young matchup there.
Yeah, I would certainly look to the Mets as a bounce back again. I know, again, it's not based on just the one pitcher making his debut, but they've had some success with, McLean the past 2 weeks or making his starts. But when it comes to Toll, I think that's really interesting. The fact that it's nearly a pick-em between him and Paul Skeens, I think that should tell you enough about how good Toll is. Some of his 35% strikeout numbers from AAA, we have to take with a grain of salt. But as you guys were discussing in a previous segment, Joe, I think you said it, unders in the first 5. I think that's where we have to be looking, regardless of who wins, a lack of scoring, and there's going to be some rain in the forecast for Boston today.
And by the way, Tom, tonight the New Haven Chargers taking on Marist at 7 o'clock. Will you be in attendance at that game? Is that your hometown heroes? The Chargers?
No, I will not be in attendance for that game. Never rooting for any New Haven-based teams, especially not Yale. QU never had a football team, so they're undefeated since 1929, so they've never lost.
There you go. Don't come back. Keep that undefeated streak. That's Tom Vecchio bringing the heat today, looking out for some Major League Baseball action and going to enjoy this weekend in the NCAA action. And also joining me on Pro Baseball today, once again, 10 a.m. on Sunday. Don't miss it. It's Labor Day weekend. Thanks for joining us, Tom. We'll shut it down next, right here on the early line.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Devon Acham, catfish shears are really tricky. I'm not saying he's going to be on the PUP list or anything like that, but it is something to monitor. And he is a small running back, and I think chasing last season is just a problem. I can't take him over Derrick Henry at the end of the first round. I think it's crazy. And Ollie Gordon's a player we talked about. Here's the preseason stats for Ollie Gordon, Matt. 26 attempts, 126 rushing yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
Fantasy only on SportsGrid.
Shohei Ohtani was minus 20,000, I believe, Tom, when we were talking last week. He's down to a minus 4,000, which I still think is fun. I don't know who's saying, now's the time to bet the minus 4,000 here and win some money. Schwarber's a 12-1 price, Machado 10-1, Soto 200-1. It's still going to be Ohtani's award here. They're not playing great baseball for the Dodgers, but I do find it funny. Like, what is the difference between minus 20,000 and minus 4,000? Who knows? Who's got that much money to play anyway?
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Arch Manning is a 7-1 price to win it. You take a look at Cade Klubnik here for Clemson. He's a 9-1 price. Nussmeier. Then we see Jeremiah Smith. He ain't a quarterback, Joe. He's a wide receiver. Love those wide receivers.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is another one from Alabama. Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams will battle it out for best wide receiver, potentially leading their teams to a college football playoff.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Donnie right side and Joe Ranieri. I think we got you ready for this week. I think we brought the pain. I think you're ready for Labor Day. I think you're ready for Major League Baseball today, the college football you're going to see this weekend on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and also on Monday night. I think we're there for us, Joe. The energy, certainly high. The table's been set for the day. But at this point in the show, you know the drill, Joe. We reach out to the public and ask them a question, and we want their feedback. This is Fade the Public. Simple question today. The hottest topic yesterday. No, it wasn't Travis Kelce and, Jason Kelce and, playing in Arrowhead and Taylor Swift and the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That was fun. Micah Parsons got traded yesterday. And if you went to our account at SportsGrid on X, we asked that simple question. Can Parsons and the Packers win the Super Bowl? No. 62%. Yes. 38%. I voted no. Just because I wanted to vote no on that point, Joe. What was your opinion on this one?
He is such a wild card. Is he a great talent? Absolutely. But he's also now making quarterback money. And what happens? Is he going to love living in Green Bay, this guy? What if it doesn't go as well as they thought here? There's just far too many questions. And he's not a proven commodity in postseason football here. So, they beat him. Green Bay beat him when he was at Dallas in the playoffs. So I would wait and see. Are they better today because he's on the team? Yes. Does that mean I'm running to the window and I think they are now the favorite to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I agree with the public.
By the way, I saw a video going around like Micah Parsons told his mom she can finally retire. How much money has this guy already made in his previous 4 years in the NFL with endorsements and a first-round contract here? I'm just saying. Yes, it's nice to retire your mom. But what was the mom living over there? $1 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million a year she was spending a year because he could finally afford that? What was mom doing over there? Come on, Micah. It should have been done day one.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Well, now it can definitely be done. In fact, if he's throwing money around for retirement, we're available, Donnie. I'm just saying.
Hey, look, Micah Parsons, come on the network. Have some fun with us. Spread that cash around. We'll see what happens. But you know what we need to do now, Joe? Spread that cash around. The money's been flowing red hot on best bets here. Here's bye. Coming at you, Joe Ranieri. Yesterday, you went to college football. Are you returning back to college football today? Tell the people.
I am absolutely returning back to college football, and I am absolutely looking at another dog here tonight. An interesting game in week one. It's a game that features two teams we actually already had a chance to see, Donnie, and we've got some data on here in week 0, and that's UNLV at Sam Houston. And anybody that watched Dan Mullen's opening game as the UNLV new coach, how impressed were you that FCS Idaho State threw for 555 yards there, and they almost lost the game. In the process, maybe one of the worst tackling teams I've ever seen. They whiffed on 17 tackles in that game there. And on the flip side, the Bearcats took on Western Kentucky, who we all know, up-tempo, loves to throw the ball. But they actually outgained Western Kentucky, averaging a little over 6.5 yards per play. This kid, Hunter Watson, and this running back, McCaskill, these are game changers here. Not to mention Phil Longo, the new head coach, is a air raid guy here, taking over on this program at Sam Houston. They went 2 for 17 on third down, and they turned the ball over in the red zone. It's the only reason they didn't cover that game against Western Kentucky. But I have no doubt with this defense of UNLV that Sam Houston at home will be able to keep this within a single score, if not win this game outright on Friday night.
Phil Longo, how about that with your boy DRS? 1999, I graduated. That was my final year. In the year 2000 at William Patterson, Phil Longo became the offensive coordinator. Missed out by 1 year. How many more yards and catches and touchdowns could I put on my resume if I actually had a really good offensive coordinator like Phil Longo? Is what it is. But for me, keeping it simple tonight, Major League Baseball, back at it. Yesterday, Bryce Harper, thank you. Single to lead off the game. Second at bat, he hit a home run. I'm going Detroit and Kansas City. Paddock and Lugo, Let's go over the 9. There were some 8.5s today, but okay, we'll take the 9. We'll make it 10 total runs tonight to cash in tickets here on a Friday. It's how we get down. It's Friday. It's payday. We got college football. We got Major League Baseball. We got a monster weekend setting up. It's just the way we do it on the early line. Hope we did you proud today, boys and girls. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri, the best part about this is we'll see you Tuesday bright and early. It's a day off.